Welcome back, everybody. Pack Opening Addict. I haven't done a box of Kaldheim in a real long time now. God, 4 months? 5 months, maybe? I do have another one of these currently in the queue that just has been pushed back for months that will eventually air. And, I just kind of want to open one. And let's talk a little bit about the current state of the Magic market. Sealed collectibles, kind of the chaos or craziness. Chaos isn't the right word. I think there's a lot of people that are kind of getting involved in some of this stuff and don't really know the history necessarily. And while plenty of other channels talk about this stuff in the very early days of the channel, I tried to talk about it, and the realization was there's plenty of other channels that do it, so I'm not going to bother. But sealed collectibles, right? So that became all the rage, especially during the pandemic, where the prices of all of the old stuff or sealed stuff or stuff you can't find anymore all shot up dramatically. So then, leads to a culture where everybody then thinks old growth control. Everything then will follow suit as we go forward. And of course, all of our favorite YouTuber, I should say, is all about the fact that they will go up over time. And there's truth to that, right? So it's kind of the same thing as when you're buying a popular stock now. Yeah, is it going to shoot up through the roof at this point? Maybe, maybe not. It's still solid though, right? And that's kind of where boxes are. Magic the Gathering, especially in the earlier days, even if we just go all the way up to, let's just say even Mirrodin. Eradicator, Valkyrie for our... That's a mythic, right? Yeah, that's a mythic. We go up all the way, let's just say to Mirrodin, Kamigawa. Heck, let's just go all the way up to Time Spiral, right? But especially in the early days, and plenty of people have covered this, but like, when I started playing this game, you guys know how much a Black Lotus was? Like, you could buy one for like 50 bucks. And that felt like a complete ripoff. Complete ripoff. Fast mana wasn't valued the same back then. As some people joke about, it's all about the big creature. Because it kind of was. Raven's Warning. Toski! Very nice. Okay. So, while that card was super powerful, it was kind of like, why would I spend 50 bucks on that? I mean, many people kind of felt that way. And Calming Lycid. Like there's one of those in every single set box. Yeah, but nobody knew Magic the Gathering was still going to be a thing. Heck, we're approaching 30 years, so let's just call it what it is. It's going to be not only a thing 30 years later, but far more popular than it's ever been. Like it grew exponentially. Nobody knew that. Rise of the Dreadmarn, Blizzard Brawl. Nobody knew that was going to happen. Nobody knew that was going to happen. Okay? And if somebody says they knew that was going to happen, they were really just placing a bet guessing it was going to happen. They didn't know. So it's kind of like I know, like when I was a kid and my dad was all about baseball cards, Magda, and taking care of those baseball cards and putting them in sleeves and, victimize, because his generation, of course, didn't know baseball cards would become a hot collectible. So, art card, okay. So, they destroyed all their cards and didn't take care of them and put them in shoe boxes and put them in attics and all kinds of things like that. And yes, put them in the spokes of bicycles. So then, when they, later on, there's not very many nice copies left of things, of course, the price is going to go through the roof as collectibles grow. And there's a lack of them to get, Carter. So, of course, it's going to grow, right? It's going to get bigger. So, that made an entire generation of sports cards pretty much worthless. Pretty much my entire childhood, actually. Sports cards, worthless. combined with the fact that they were printing dramatically more, far more good conditioned copies stayed on the market. You know, it became a thing, and then it didn't explode. Like right now, I can go to the local shop over here, and I can get sealed boxes of 1990 Upper Deck baseball for like dirt cheap. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's a more than 30-year-old box of cards, and I can go get it for dirt cheap. It's because there were so many, and people did that. People decided to keep it, so which essentially flooded the market and kept things from going up, right? So it's kind of the same thing. You know, when Urza's Saga came out, how many people out there, there's probably some, there's probably a few, right? But how many people out there were truly like, God, I got to keep these sealed. These are going to go for crazy amounts one day. Oh, this box of Revised is going to go for $15,000 20 years from now. How many people you think said that and actually knew that was going to happen, right? Hey, Realmwalker, cool. Search for Glory. Inga. Whoa, Thruming Stone. Oh, that is outstanding. Oh, that is a great hit. Oh, that is cool. Oh, man, I haven't seen that in so long. Oh, that's gorgeous. Okay, Thruming Stone. That almost makes this box good already. Anyway. So no, what you did back then was you opened your cards. In the early days of Magic, when frankly they weren't worth squat, as you guys, everybody knows, you actually played with the cards and shuffled with them, and then eventually they came out with, you know, deck protector sleeves, which were like $8 a box, and not everybody even wanted to buy them right away. Because it was like, oh, well, I mean, a pack is $3, so like that is 2.5 packs. Really, why would I buy that? And people didn't necessarily. Ooh, Burgie, okay. Dalian Illusionist. So people didn't necessarily, right? They didn't necessarily sleeve up their cards, and that's why there's so many, you know, moderate, heavy played dual lands out there. By the way, this is funny. This is going to be funny to everybody. So this is the early days of Magic. And once again, like I had stated, if you played in the early days of Magic, you know this to be true, where you valued the big creature. It was what the game was all about. And I know in one of my first booster packs, I got an Underground Sea. I was highly disappointed. Highly. Incredibly disappointed. Because I'm like, I got a freaking land as a rare. Seriously, that was how it was treated, right? Especially if you weren't really on the in yet. I traded it, this is not making it up, for a Regenerate. Arnie Broken Bow. Broken Brow, because I always say bow. Firja. Yep. Trade it for Regenerate. Again, there wasn't really things like values out there. And you didn't really fully know that land was a rare. But you thought it was a rare. Like, you kind of knew it was a rare. But, like, did rares matter? Second signed art card, kind of. And I wanted to Regenerate to protect my Crawlworm. Had to protect my Crawlworm. I don't need a land. I need to protect my Crawlworm. So that was one of my very first trades. Still friends with that dude to this very same day, and I still bring it up from time to time. That was horrible. That was a horrible trade. But again, we didn't really know any better, either of us. He kind of did, but not really. I definitely didn't. So that's how you get to those things. But anyway, those things are hard to come by. Sealed, true sealed, old product like that. It doesn't exist. Ooh, World Tree. Okay. It's just, it's very limited to run across because nobody kept it sealed. So it's kind of a big deal. It's kind of special, right? So that takes us to some other things. So when we kind of go to more normal, more modern times, after people started to think, maybe I should keep stuff sealed. Maybe I should keep some boxes of this on hand and watch. It's going to go up dramatic. It's going to look at packs of Visions. They're $75 a piece. This random pack of Throne of Eldraine will be $75 someday. Maybe in 20 years. Seriously, 20 years. Because how many people are keeping sealed boxes? How many of them are there? Is yours special? No, it's not. You don't have a special pack. So, can it double? Sure. I mean, if we just go with some interesting recent data over the last year, right? So, when I got kind of back into Magic here, I was able to buy a case, in which I did an entire case opening across 6 videos of Modern Horizons 1. It was awesome to get back into. And it was actually not that expensive, realistically, considering it was already more than a year old. It's already, what, a year and a half old? Yeah, about that. But it hadn't really spiked yet, I guess you can say, right? And obviously then they went up. But they went up for the very reason, not so much that they're super limited out there, but it's because of some of the stuff that's on the inside. So then, you know, you've got double masters, right? So masters boxes in general, for a minute they're spiked. Most of them have come back down, and not only came back down, they're down to below where they were. Just take Eternal Masters as an example, where now you can get an Eternal Masters box for about $350, $400. Oh, cool. Isochron 7. Man, I'm killing it on the list in this box. Whereas, you know, but Double Masters, well, Double Masters is even at $500, like those are just with the stuff you pull on the inside, it's like worth it. It's a bit of an outlier, and the price of that box went up because of what's inside of it specifically. But that box will come down in time when all those cards end up in a newer printed set again that you can get for cheaper. Same thing we're watching with those older, you know, Masters boxes. Like right now, people are, what, selling 2015 Master boxes for at most $275. 2017s now are probably down to about $325 because of the Fetchland reprint and Modern Horizons 2. Calamity Bearer. Getting a lot of bulk in this box. Okay. Cyclone Summoner. And a foil Eradicator Valkyrie. I guess it really wants me to have that as a mythic. Anyway. Because, yeah, you know, those boxes, they become less desirable to hold on to. And this kind of brings me to the end-all point of modern-day Magic, right? Why is a box of Urza of Saga so expensive? It's so expensive because it is chock full of god-tier reserve list cards, or shots at them is probably a better way to put it. Shots at god-tier reserve list cards in perfect condition, if the box is in good shape. In which is also a set that people cracked like crazy, and the sheer number of sealed product out there in the market isn't actually that high. Versus, we'll just take Throne of Eldraine, a set that had tons of printing, lots of people holding on to boxes, and every single one of those cards that is worth a goddamn is likely to be reprinted in the next 5 years. Because none of these things are protected anymore. So, the Great Henge. Really? That's going to be the extended art slash... borderless slash showcase mythic I get. Quakebringer. Ugh. Okay. Well, thank God the list is doing the heavy lifting here. Kolvori. Brain Freeze. Okay. Fits the set. Anyway. Yeah, Great Henge will be reprinted. Period. It's going to be reprinted. We've already seen that now with Brazen Borrower, between getting put on the list and then added to, what was it, a Pioneer deck or something like that? Whatever it was. Brawl deck, I don't know exactly what it was, but nonetheless, it's the price of that shot down. Next thing that's going to happen with some of those Theros cards, right? A few things may not be reprinted that much, and we don't know what they are yet. So that'll be something we find out over time. But it's going to take longer for your sealed product from these eras to go up unless there was a special case like Dominaria that was short printed. That's what Dominaria's got going for it, was a combination between people seemingly really digging the vibe of the set and being short printed. So when you combine those two things, that creates scarcity, right? So there's far less of those boxes than pretty much everything else printed in the last 5 years, 6 years. Here's just retribution. And that's been what's kind of funny, right? Because people tend to look at Amazon and they tend to look at eBay for the prices of boxes. And that's not entirely correct. Or TCG Player. Because just because somebody's asking for a price doesn't mean it's actually selling for that price. Some people are not in a hurry to sell their boxes, and that's okay. So they're asking for a certain price because that's their price to sell. Doesn't mean it's actually selling at that price. So when somebody out there is quoting $175 for a box of War of the Spark, they're not $175. In fact, you can get them for about $135 to $150 from many people selling them. Now, $135 to $150, we'll just say $150 on the high end, Valkyrie Harbinger. You know, that still went up some, right? Still a 3-year-old set at this point. So that's still, let's just take the baseline of the box is $100, so $135. But then again, you're not really including tax in that, which you paid on the original. You likely paid on the original box, even though you didn't necessarily. So it went up, what, $20, $30 in 3 years? Is that what we're looking at for an entire sealed box? The Ravs, right? So they started to spike for a while, and I think they're a really good example. Pyre of Heroes. Really good example of what we're talking about here. So Rav Allegiance and Guilds of Rav started to shoot up. And people were like, as Modern kind of got really big again, people were like, I gotta get my Shocklands. I gotta get my Shocklands. Those boxes have to get purchased, blah, blah, blah. And boxes started to go up, and they started to get a little limited. But then Wizards made a comment and said basically, hey, Shocklands are going to be printed again next year. And then the boxes of Guilds and Allegiance stopped being wanted and went back down to $125 a box. Vanguard of Brimaz. Yeah, I'm only at actually one regular mythic so far. That's weird. Anyway. Thank God for that Thormian Stone. Okay. Oops. Did I just do that? Yep, I did. Okay. Anyway. So, if you're invested in lots of sealed product right now, I sure hope you've got the storage space to hold on to these things for a long time. Righteous Valkyrie. Cool. Coma! Finally! Something awesome. Okay. I mean, since Thrumming Stone, anyway. Rise of the Dreadmarn foil. It's kind of neat. Yeah, so I hope that you're really you've got the storage space and the time and the temperature-controlled area that you are going to be good storing all of that bulky sealed product. Personally, if you're gonna get into something, get in a reserve list. I know ooh, Valky in the showcase. Cool. Well, we finally hit a couple of those mythics. Tybalt. Awesome. Cool. Dig that. Pilfering Hawk. Those are the one true thing Magic has that there's a finite amount about. So instead of buying packs of Throne of Eldraine collectors to hold on to for 15, 20 years, and maybe they'll double in price in 10, maybe. That's a long time to hold on to that, I have to say. Maybe, but maybe not. That's a lot of bulk. Ugh. Okay. Oh, Wayfarer's Bauble. That is one of the best commons you can get out of this. The list has killed it. We've got 5 packs left. I just kind of wanted, anything I'm saying, of course, is just my own personal opinion. Everybody will have their own personal opinion on what they should do. If you want to keep some boxes for drafting and some of your favorite things, that's cool. Makes sense. If you are investing in buying Modern cards, stop now. Just knock it off. Saw it coming. Knock it off. You are making terrible decisions. Tyvar Kell. It's amazing. That thing's down to like $2 now. Get some reserve list. I don't believe sitting on 4 cases of Kaldheim is going to do you any good anytime soon. And maybe I'll be wrong, and then sometime in the future, somebody who wants to be a contrarian to that will then call it out and say, see, you were wrong, and you know what? At that point, I will accept it. Just can't see it. Maybe with Modern Horizons too. Like I think that's one of the few things I could possibly think of. Just because that set is so freaking amazing that when those boxes become limited, people are going to want them. And there's going to be a quick spike on those, but then it'll level off again because it'll get to a point that people will be like, that's too much money. And then it'll level off. That's the only one I can really think of of anything printed in the last 3 or 4 years outside of Dominaria that has a chance of doing that. Let me know your thoughts on that. Okay, I think I have gotten every single saga in the set. In this one box. So yeah, I'm just having this conversation based off a lot of different videos and even some of the own conversation that's taken place on my own videos. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Yes, I am more excited about that than I am Valky. Awesome. Tide Channel Pathway. I still wanted a playmat of that, but that doesn't exist. Bark Channel Pathway. Oh my god, Reality Shift too. Okay, this box was amazing on the list cards. In fact, is that one rare? Or is Brain Freeze a rare? I'm just not aware of that. Either way, there's only 1 pack left, so I'm going to assume so. But yeah, all that chatter going on. And all that stuff about sealed boxes and people thinking they're going to double their money in 2 years. Get a grip, man. There's too much of this printed. There's too many people holding on to boxes. There's too many people that have gotten into this since the pandemic as people were sitting at home. The amount of people sitting on sealed product right now is tremendously higher than it's ever been. Tremendously. Varagoth, okay. I will take that. Herald. And we have, that is going to be the end of this box. So yeah, share your thoughts on this. You know, if you're keeping a few boxes because you think it's cool and it's fun, that makes sense. I dig that. If you're doing it because you think you're going to make bank on it, I sure hope you have a hell lot of climate-controlled storage space for those boxes, and you're ready to deal with all the packing and shipping and issues with that when it comes time to sell. Reserve lists is way easier. Way easier. Just my thoughts. I just really kind of wanted to talk about this because it's been driving me crazy lately. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Till next time. Bye.